The alarm bells rang through Research Station Kepler 442b like angry metal birds. Park Tae-ho dropped his coffee cup and ran toward the mining sector. The hot liquid splashed across his boots, but he did not care. When the deep mining alarms went off, it usually meant trouble. Tae-ho was not like the other humans on the station. While most people came here to dig valuable metals from the ground, he came to study alien life. At 32 years old, he had spent 8 years learning about strange creatures on different worlds. His job was to make sure the miners did not accidentally kill something important. The station corridors were full of running people. Tae-ho pushed through the crowd until he reached the mining control room. Captain Lee Boram stood in front of a wall of screens. Her face looked serious and worried. "What happened down there?" Tae-ho asked. Captain Lee pointed at the main screen. "Tunnel 7 collapsed an hour ago. The mining crew was trapped inside." She paused and looked at him with dark eyes. "But that is not the worst part." On the screen, Tae-ho could see the rescue team's camera feed. The tunnel was dark and full of broken rocks. Emergency lights created strange shadows on the walls. Then the camera moved, and Tae-ho saw something that made his blood turn cold. A massive creature lay trapped under the fallen rocks. It was bigger than anything Tae-ho had ever seen. The animal looked like a wolf, but it had 6 powerful legs instead of 4. Each leg ended in claws that looked like sharp crystal. Along its dark fur, bright blue lines glowed like lightning. The creature's head was as big as a human's chest. "Dear God," Tae-ho whispered. "It gets worse," said Dr. Kim Hyun-woo, walking up behind them. Kim was Tae-ho's best friend and the station's chief medical officer. His voice was shaking. "Look closer." The rescue team's camera zoomed in. Behind the massive creature, Tae-ho could see 3 small shapes. They were baby versions of the big animal. The little ones were no bigger than house cats, but they had the same 6 legs and crystal claws. Their blue markings were dim and flickering. "The mother is protecting her babies," Tae-ho said quietly. "The mother is a killer," Captain Lee said with anger in her voice. "Do you know what species this is?" Tae-ho felt his stomach drop. He knew exactly what they were looking at. These were void stalkers. The scientific name was much longer, but everyone called them void stalkers because they hunted in the empty space between stars. 2 human colonies had been completely destroyed by packs of these creatures. Thousands of people had died. "We need to kill it now," said a new voice. Choi Min-seo, the station's security chief, had joined them. She was a small woman, but her voice was hard as steel. "Before it gets free." "The creature is badly hurt," Dr. Kim said, studying his medical scanner. "It has broken bones and deep cuts." "It cannot fight." "I do not care," Min-seo replied. "These things are monsters. They eat humans. We kill it now or it kills us later." Tae-ho stared at the screen. The mother creature had lifted her huge head and was looking directly at the rescue team's camera. Her eyes were not the cold, empty eyes of a hunter. They looked tired and afraid. She was breathing hard and dark blood was pooling under her body. "How did they get into our tunnels?" Tae-ho asked. "We do not know," Captain Lee said. "The outer sensors never detected them. It is like they appeared from nowhere." On the screen, one of the baby creatures made a soft sound. It was hurt and calling for its mother. The big creature moved her head toward her baby. Even though the movement clearly caused her pain, she made a low, gentle sound back. "That is not hunting behavior," Tae-ho said slowly. "What do you mean?" Captain Lee asked. "Look at her position. She is not trying to attack or escape. She is covering her babies with her body. Even though she is dying, she is still protecting them." Min-seo laughed, but it was not a happy sound. "So what are you saying, we should feel sorry for the monster that would eat our children?" Tae-ho did not answer right away. He was thinking about something he had learned during his years studying alien life. Every creature had reasons for what it did. Even the most dangerous animals usually only killed when they were hungry, scared, or protecting their young. "What if they were not hunting us?" he said finally. "What if they were running from something?" The room became very quiet. On the screen, the rescue team was setting up their equipment. They had orders to kill the creatures as soon as they could safely do it. "Running from what?" Dr. Kim asked. "I do not know, but look at her wounds. Those cuts on her sides, they were not made by mining equipment. Something else attacked her. Something with claws like hers." Captain Lee studied the screen more carefully. "You think other void stalkers did this? Maybe. Or maybe something worse." "This is crazy talk," Min-seo said. These things destroyed New Geneva colony. They killed 3,000 people. They are monsters, and monsters need to die. The rescue team is ready, reported a voice from the communication system, requesting permission to eliminate the alien threats. Captain Lee put her hand on the communication button, but she did not press it yet. She looked at Tae-ho. You have 30 seconds to give me a good reason why I should not let them kill those things right now. Tae-ho's mind raced. He thought about all the alien species he had studied. He thought about the colonies that had been destroyed. But mostly he thought about the look in the mother creature's eyes. It was not the look of a monster. It was the look of a mother trying to save her children. Because we might be making a terrible mistake, he said. The room was silent except for the sound of breathing and the quiet hum of the station's machines. On the screen, the mother creature was getting weaker. Her breathing was becoming shallow, and her glowing blue markings were starting to fade. If we kill her now, we will never know why she was really here, Tae-ho continued. What if she was trying to warn us about something? What if killing her brings worse danger to our station? Captain Lee stared at the screen for a long moment. Finally, she pressed the communication button. Rescue team, hold your position. Do not engage the creatures yet. We need more information first. Captain, that is not safe, Minseo protested. Neither is making decisions without understanding what we are dealing with, Captain Lee replied. She looked at Tae-ho. You have 24 hours to figure out what these creatures want. If you cannot prove they are not a threat by then, we kill them all. Tae-ho nodded even though his hands were shaking. 24 hours to save 3 alien lives and maybe prevent a war between species. He grabbed his equipment and headed for the tunnels. Time was running out for everyone. Tae-ho climbed down into the collapsed tunnel with his heart beating fast. The air was thick with dust and the smell of broken rocks. His headlamp cut through the darkness as he walked carefully toward the trapped creatures. Behind him, 2 security guards followed with their weapons ready. Minseo had insisted that Tae-ho could not go alone. The guards were nervous. Everyone on the station knew the stories about void stalkers tearing humans apart with their crystal claws. Stay back at least 10 meters, Tae-ho told the guards. If she feels threatened, she might attack even though she is hurt. The massive creature came into view as they rounded a bend in the tunnel. Up close, she was even more frightening than on the screens. Her body was longer than a small truck, and her 6 legs were thick with muscle. But Tae-ho noticed something the cameras had missed. The creature was shaking. She is scared, he whispered to himself. The mother lifted her enormous head and looked at Tae-ho. Her eyes were a deep golden color like sunset. They followed his every movement, but she did not growl or bare her teeth. Instead, she made a soft sound that was almost like a whimper. Easy, girl, Tae-ho said quietly, the same way he would talk to a frightened dog. I am not here to hurt you. One of the guards laughed nervously. Sir, that thing does not understand human speech. But as Tae-ho took a step closer, the creature's ears moved toward him. Her head tilted slightly like she was listening. The blue markings along her fur flickered brighter for a moment. Tae-ho slowly knelt down and opened his medical kit. I know you are in pain. Let me help. The creature watched as he pulled out a medical scanner. When he held it up, she could see that his hands were empty of weapons. Slowly, carefully, Tae-ho moved closer. Sir, this is not safe, one of the guards said. That thing could bite your head off. She could, Tae-ho agreed. But she has not. He was now close enough to touch the creature. Her breathing was shallow and quick. Blood was flowing from a deep cut on her side. Tae-ho could see that without help she would die within hours. The creature made another soft sound. This time Tae-ho was sure it was not a threat. It was a question. She was asking him what he wanted. Your babies are hurt too, Tae-ho said, looking past her to the 3 small creatures huddled behind their mother. I want to help them. As if she understood, the mother creature slowly moved one of her massive legs. She was still protecting her babies, but now Tae-ho could see them better. 2 of the little ones were moving weakly. The 3rd one was completely still. Oh no, Tae-ho breathed. He activated his medical scanner and pointed it at the babies. The readings made his heart sink. One of the babies was already dead. The other 2 were barely alive. The mother seemed to understand what the scanner meant. She looked at her dead baby and made a sound that broke Tae-ho's heart. It was the sound of a mother crying. I am sorry, Tae-ho whispered. I am so sorry. He worked quickly, scanning the mother and the 2 living babies. The mother had 3 broken ribs and was losing blood fast. The babies were dehydrated and starving. All of them had strange marks on their bodies, claw marks from other creatures like themselves. They were attacked by their own kind, Tejo said to himself. This was important information. It meant these creatures were not part of a hunting pack. They were refugees. His radio crackled to life. Tejo, report your status, came Captain Lee's voice. The creatures are badly injured. The mother is dying and one baby is already dead. I need to bring medical supplies down here right away. There was silence on the radio for a moment. Then Captain Lee spoke again. Are you sure this is safe? The station council is meeting right now. Half of them want to kill those things immediately. Captain, these creatures were not hunting us. Someone else attacked them. They came here looking for safety. Even if that is true, they are still dangerous. One scared animal can kill many people. Tejo looked at the mother creature again. She had laid her huge head down on the ground, but her golden eyes were still watching him. Even though she was dying, even though she was in terrible pain, she was still trying to protect her remaining babies. Give me the full 24 hours you promised, Tejo said into his radio. I think I can save them, and if I can save them, maybe I can prove they are not our enemies. Back on the surface, the station was in chaos. Word had spread that there were void stalkers in the tunnels. Some people wanted to evacuate immediately. Others demanded that the creatures be killed before they could escape and attack the station. In the main meeting room, Captain Lee faced a group of angry colonists. Min Seo stood at her side with her arms crossed. This is madness, shouted a miner named Han Seok. These things killed my brother on New Geneva colony. We should blast those tunnels and bury them alive. Tejo is risking all our lives for monsters, agreed another colonist. What happens when more of them come looking for these ones, but not everyone agreed? A young engineer named Yoon Jae-sung raised his hand. What if Tejo is right? What if killing them brings more danger? Jae-sung is correct, said Dr. Kim, who had just arrived from the medical bay. I have been studying the scans Tejo sent up. These creatures were attacked by other members of their species. The wounds are very specific. These are not hunters, they are victims. Min Seo shook her head. It does not matter. Victims can still be dangerous. A cornered animal is often the most deadly. Captain Lee listened to all the arguments. Finally, she held up her hand for silence. I have made my decision. Tejo has until tomorrow morning. If he can prove these creatures are not a threat, we will consider letting them live. If not, we kill them. And if they kill Tejo first, Min Seo asked, then we will know they cannot be trusted. Down in the tunnels, Tejo had returned with medical supplies. The mother creature watched as he set up IV lines and injected pain medication. She did not resist when he cleaned her wounds or bandaged her cuts. You know I am trying to help, do not you? He said softly. The creature made a low, rumbling sound. It was not aggressive. It sounded almost like a cat purring. Tejo carefully picked up one of the living babies. It was no bigger than a kitten, but its crystal claws were already sharp. The little creature was too weak to struggle as he fed it liquid nutrients through a tube. The mother watched every movement. When Tejo gently placed her baby back beside her, she licked the little one with her enormous tongue. The baby made a tiny chirping sound and moved closer to its mother's warm body. Good girl, Tejo said. You are a good mother. As the hours passed, Tejo continued working. He gave the creatures medicine and food. He talked to them in a quiet voice, explaining what he was doing. Most importantly, he watched how they behaved. These were not mindless killers. The mother was gentle with her babies. She was grateful for help. She even seemed to be trying to communicate with him. But Tejo knew that saving their lives was only the first step. Tomorrow he would have to convince an entire station full of scared humans that these creatures deserved to live. And somewhere in the back of his mind, he wondered what had attacked them in the first place. If something could hurt creatures this powerful, what did that mean for the humans on the station? Time was running out, and Tejo still had no idea how to prove that monsters could choose to be something else. Tejo had been working in the tunnels for 12 hours when he noticed something strange. The mother creature's blue markings were changing. Instead of glowing steadily, they were blinking in patterns. Fast blinks, slow blinks, sometimes several quick flashes followed by darkness. Are you trying to tell me something? He asked quietly. The creature looked at him and the blue lines along her body flashed 3 times, paused, then flashed once more. She repeated the pattern exactly. 3 flashes, Pause. One flash. Taeho grabbed his radio. Dr. Kim, I need you to bring Dr. Nam Jihai down here immediately. The language expert. Why? I think our patient is trying to communicate. 20 minutes later, Dr. Nam Jihai climbed down into the tunnel. She was a small woman with sharp eyes, who had spent her career studying how different species talked to each other. She carried a box full of recording equipment. Show me what you saw, she said to Taeho. Taeho knelt near the mother creature. Can you do that again, please? The creature looked at him for a moment. Then her blue markings began to flash. 3 times. Pause. 1 time. She repeated it several times. Dr. Nam set up her equipment and began recording. Fascinating. The pattern is exactly the same each time. This is definitely intentional communication. What do you think it means? I am not sure yet, but look at this. Dr. Nam pointed to her screen, which was analyzing the sound levels in the tunnel. She is also making sounds too low for us to hear. Infrasound. Many large animals use it to talk across long distances. As if she knew they were discussing her, the creature made her pattern again. But this time she looked directly at her 2 remaining babies while she did it. 3 flashes for 3 babies, Taeho said suddenly. 1 flash for the one that is still alive and strong. Dr. Nam nodded excitedly. You might be right. She is counting her children. They spent the next hour trying different things. When Taeho held up 1 finger, the creature flashed once. When he held up 2 fingers, she flashed twice. When Dr. Nam clapped her hands 3 times, the creature flashed 3 times and made a soft sound. She understands numbers, Dr. Nam said with amazement. This shows real intelligence, not just animal instincts. But their work was interrupted by Captain Lee's voice on the radio. All teams report to the surface immediately. We have a problem. Back in the control room, everyone was staring at the long-range sensor displays. Captain Lee looked worried. Dr. Kim was pale. Even Min Seo seemed nervous. What is it? Taeho asked. Captain Lee pointed to the screen. 23 contacts approaching from the north. Moving fast. They will be here in 6 hours. Taeho studied the sensor readings. His blood turned cold. More void stalkers. A whole pack of them, Min Seo said. This proves I was right. The ones in our tunnel were scouts. Now the rest of them are coming to attack us. That does not make sense, Dr. Nam said. If they were scouts, why were they so badly hurt? Why was one of the babies dead? Before anyone could answer, a new voice joined the conversation. Because they were not scouts. They were running away. Everyone turned to see Kwon Dong-hyun, one of the station's maintenance workers. He was an older man who did not talk much. Most people knew he had been a soldier before coming to the mining station. What do you mean? Captain Lee asked. Dong-hyun walked to the sensor display. I have seen this before on Proxima Station. A pack of predators was chasing a smaller group. The smaller group was not hunting. They were trying to escape. So the creatures in our tunnel are not part of the pack that is coming, Dong-hyun finished. They are the pack's enemies. Taeho felt pieces of a puzzle clicking together in his mind. That is why she was so badly hurt. That is why one of her babies was dead. Her own species attacked her. But why? Dr. Kim asked. I need to go back down to the tunnels, Taeho said. If I am right, she can tell us. Absolutely not, Min Seo said. Those things will be here in 6 hours. We need to kill the ones we have and prepare for war. Wait, Captain Lee said. If Dong-hyun is right, then killing the mother might be the worst thing we can do. How so? Think about it. If she is an enemy of the pack that is coming, then she might be our ally. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Min Seo shook her head. You cannot be serious. You want to trust our lives to a monster. I want to trust our lives to information, Captain Lee replied. Taeho, you have 2 hours. Find out why that creature is here and why her own kind attacked her. Then we decide what to do about the pack that is coming. Taeho ran back to the tunnels. When he arrived, he found the mother creature was sitting up. She was still weak, but the medical treatment had helped her. Her 2 remaining babies were nursing, making tiny, contented sounds. I need to know why you are here, Teho said urgently. Your family is coming, a big pack of your kind. Are they hunting you? The creature looked at him with her golden eyes. She seemed to understand that something important was happening. Her blue markings began to flash in a complex pattern, more complicated than anything she had shown before. Dr. Nam's equipment recorded everything. The pattern is much longer this time. And look at this, the infrasound is different too. She is trying to tell us something specific. The creature looked toward the tunnel entrance, in the direction where the pack was approaching. Her markings flashed red instead of blue. She made a deep, angry sound. Red means danger, Dr. Nam said. She is warning us about the others. Then the creature did something that made both humans step back in surprise. She struggled to her feet, despite her injuries. She moved to stand between Teho and the tunnel entrance. Her massive body formed a wall between the humans and the direction where the pack was coming. She is protecting us, Teho whispered. The creature looked back at him and made a gentle sound. Then she looked at her babies and made the same sound. Finally, she looked at Teho again and nodded her huge head. She is saying we are her pack now, Dr. Nam said with wonder in her voice. She has adopted us. Teho's radio crackled. 5 hours until the pack arrives. All civilians to the emergency shelters, all security teams to battle stations. But Teho was not thinking about the coming battle. He was thinking about what he had just witnessed. A creature that was supposed to be a mindless killer had just chosen to protect the humans who had saved her life. Come on, he said to Dr. Nam. We need to tell Captain Lee what we learned. As they climbed toward the surface, neither of them noticed the mother creature's markings change to a deep purple color. In her species, purple meant determination. She had made her choice about which side she would fight for. The coming battle would test whether humans and aliens could really stand together. But for now, at least one member of each species had decided to trust the other. Time was running out, but maybe, just maybe, they had found an ally in the most unlikely place. The pack arrived at sunset. 23 massive shapes moved across the rocky landscape toward Research Station Kepler 442b. They were larger than the mother in the tunnels, with scars covering their bodies and red markings instead of blue. Their crystal claws left deep gouges in the stone as they walked. Captain Lee watched them through the station's telescopes. They look different from our creature. Battle scars, said Dong-hyun, who was helping set up the defenses. These are warriors. They have been fighting for a long time. The pack stopped just outside the station's sensor range. They spread out in a hunting formation that surrounded the entire facility. But they did not attack immediately. Instead, they began to make sounds. Deep, booming calls that shook the ground. What are they doing? Dr. Kim asked. They are calling to something, Dr. Nam said, studying her sound equipment. The frequency matches what our creature uses to communicate. Down in the tunnels, the mother creature heard the calls. She lifted her head and her blue markings began to flash rapidly. But she did not answer the calls. Instead, she made a different sound, a sharp bark that meant no in her species' language. The calls from outside grew louder and more angry. The pack was demanding that she join them. Teho knelt beside the mother creature. They want you to come with them, do not they? The creature looked at him and then at her two babies. Her markings flashed in the pattern that meant family. Then she looked toward the tunnel entrance where the human guards were positioned. She flashed the same pattern. She is saying we are all family now, Dr. Nam translated. The creature struggled to her feet again. Despite her injuries, she began to walk toward the tunnel entrance. Her babies followed behind her, chirping softly. Where is she going? One of the guards asked nervously. To make a choice, Teho said. The mother creature reached the tunnel entrance and looked out at the darkening sky. The pack was closer now. Teho could see their red eyes glowing in the distance. The creature that seemed to be their leader was enormous, even bigger than the mother. Old scars covered his face and one of his crystal claws was broken. The pack leader called out again. This time his voice was different. It was not a command, it was a question. He was asking the mother to explain herself. The mother creature stepped out of the tunnel entrance. She stood in full view of both the attacking pack and the human defenders. Her blue markings flashed in a long, complex pattern. Dr. Nam was recording everything. She is telling them about us, about how we saved her and her babies. The pack leader's response was immediate and angry. His red markings flared bright and he made a sound like thunder. The meaning was clear. He did not care about human kindness. Humans were prey, nothing more, but the mother creature did not back down. She stood taller and flashed her markings again. This time the pattern was different, defiant. She was telling the pack leader that she had chosen her side. The pack leader's roar of rage echoed across the landscape. The hunt was about to begin. All defenders to positions, Captain Lee announced over the station speakers. This is not a drill. The first attack came from 3 directions at once. 6 of the pack members charged the station's main entrance while others tried to break through the emergency exits. Their crystal claws sparked against the metal doors as they tried to tear their way inside. The station's defense guns opened fire. Energy beams lit up the night sky. Some shots hit their targets, but the creatures were fast and smart. They used the rocky terrain for cover and attacked in coordinated waves. They are not just animals, Dong-hyun shouted over the noise of battle. They are using military tactics. In the tunnels, the mother creature heard the sounds of fighting. She made a decision that surprised everyone. She began to walk toward the surface, moving as fast as her injured body would allow. "Where is she going?" Taeho called out as he ran after her. The creature reached the main level of the station just as one of the pack members broke through a side door. The intruder was smaller than the mother but covered in battle scars. His red eyes locked onto Taeho and he prepared to attack, but the mother creature moved faster. Despite her injuries, she launched herself at the intruder. The 2 aliens crashed into each other with tremendous force. Crystal claws rang against crystal claws as they fought. The intruder was fresher and stronger, but the mother creature was fighting for something more important than territory or food. She was fighting for her new family. Her blue markings blazed as bright as stars as she drove the intruder back toward the broken door. "She is protecting us," Dr. Kim said in amazement. Other humans began to see what was happening. The terrible creature they had feared was now standing between them and certain death. Her 2 small babies had followed her up from the tunnels. Despite being tiny and helpless, they positioned themselves beside their mother, facing the enemy. "Look at those little ones," said Jae-sung, the young engineer. "They are trying to help fight." The sight of the alien family defending their human friends changed everything. Suddenly, people who had wanted to kill the creatures were cheering for them instead. "Help her," Captain Lee ordered. "Give covering fire." Human weapons joined the fight. Energy beams drove the intruder back while the mother creature pressed her attack. Together, humans and aliens forced the enemy out of the station, but the battle was far from over. The pack leader had seen what happened. His roar of fury shook the entire station. Now the fight became personal. He was not just hunting humans anymore, he was punishing a traitor. The pack leader charged directly at the main entrance. He was too big to fit through the doors, so he began tearing the wall apart with his massive claws. Metal screamed as he ripped through the station's hull. The mother creature met him at the breach. The 2 giants crashed together like colliding mountains. The pack leader was larger and stronger, but the mother creature fought with the desperation of someone protecting her children. As the 2 titans battled, something unexpected happened. Human defenders began working alongside the mother's babies. The little creatures were too small to fight, but they were fast and smart. They ran between the humans, carrying ammunition and supplies. They warned of enemies approaching from blind spots. "They are part of our team now," Minseo said with wonder. She had been the most opposed to keeping the creatures alive, but now she was fighting beside them. The battle raged for hours. The pack was strong and experienced, but they had not expected to face united humans and aliens. Every time they broke through one defense, they found another waiting for them. The mother creature was growing weaker. The pack leader's claws had opened new wounds on her body, but she did not give up. Every time she was knocked down, she got back up and kept fighting. Finally, as dawn light began to appear on the horizon, the pack leader made one last desperate attack. He broke past the mother creature and charged into the station's main corridor. His red eyes were fixed on the group of humans huddled there, including Taeho, but he never reached them. The mother creature, summoning strength from somewhere deep inside, caught him from behind. Her crystal claws found their mark. The pack leader's roar of rage turned into a cry of pain. The other pack members heard their leader's defeat. One by one, they began to retreat into the wasteland. The hunt was over. The mother creature collapsed in the corridor. Her blue markings were dim and flickering. Tejo ran to her side. "You did it," he said softly. "You saved us all." The creature looked at him with tired golden eyes. She made a soft sound and touched his hand gently with one massive claw. Then she looked at her babies, who rushed to snuggle against their mother's warm body. Captain Lee approached slowly. "I owe you an apology," she said to the creature. "All of us do." The mother creature's markings flashed weakly in a pattern that Dr. Nam had learned to recognize. It meant family. "Yes," Captain Lee said. "Family." As the sun rose over Research Station Kepler 442b, humans and aliens sat together in the damaged corridor. They were tired and hurt, but they were alive. More importantly, they had learned something that would change both their species forever. Sometimes the strongest bonds are forged in the heat of battle. And sometimes family is not about what species you are born into. It is about who you choose to stand with when everything is on the line. 3 days after the battle, the Terran Defense Fleet arrived at Research Station Kepler 442b. 5 massive warships dropped out of hyperspace and took positions around the planet. Their sensors immediately detected the alien life forms on the station. Admiral Song Yoonji was a career military officer who had fought in 3 interstellar wars. She had seen what happened when humans tried to coexist with dangerous alien species. It never ended well. "Captain Lee," her voice came over the communication system. "Prepare for immediate evacuation. We are detecting multiple hostile alien signatures on your station." Captain Lee was in the medical bay, where Dr. Kim was treating the mother creature's wounds from the battle. The alien had saved many human lives, but she was still badly injured. "Admiral, the situation is more complex than it appears," Captain Lee replied. "The aliens on our station are not hostile. They helped us fight off an attack. Impossible. These are void stalkers. They have destroyed 2 human colonies. Prepare for evacuation immediately." Tejo looked up from where he was feeding the 2 baby creatures. They had grown stronger since the battle, but they still needed constant care. "We cannot just leave them. They are part of our community now." "The Admiral will not see it that way," Captain Lee said sadly. "To her, they are just monsters." An hour later, Admiral Song arrived on the station with a team of Marines. She was a small woman with steel gray hair and cold eyes. She had come prepared to kill aliens, not negotiate with them. "Where are the creatures?" she demanded. "In the medical bay," Captain Lee said. "But Admiral, I need you to understand what happened here." "I understand perfectly. You have been compromised by exposure to hostile aliens. It is a common psychological response. You begin to see them as individuals instead of threats." Captain Lee led the Admiral to the medical bay. When Admiral Song saw the mother creature lying on the treatment table, she immediately drew her weapon. "Stand back," she ordered. "I will handle this." But as she raised her gun, something unexpected happened. The 2 baby creatures, who had been playing near their mother, positioned themselves between the Admiral and their parent. Despite being small and defenseless, they spread their tiny crystal claws and made brave little sounds. "They are protecting her," Dr. Kim said quietly. "Just like she protected us." Admiral Song hesitated. She had expected to find mindless monsters, not a family. "Move the young ones aside. I have orders to eliminate all void stalkers." "No," said Tejo, stepping forward. "If you want to kill them, you will have to go through me first." "And me," said Dr. Kim. "And me," said Jae-sung. One by one, the humans who had fought alongside the alien family moved to stand between them and Admiral Song's weapon. Even Min Seo, who had once demanded their death, now stood with them. "You are all suffering from Stockholm Syndrome," Admiral Song said. "These creatures have manipulated you into caring for them." "They saved our lives," Captain Lee said firmly. "When their own kind attacked us, they chose to fight with us instead of against us." Lies. Void stalkers are incapable of that kind of loyalty. To prove her point, Admiral Song activated a holographic display showing footage from the destroyed colonies. Images of devastation filled the air. Burning buildings, torn bodies, the aftermath of void stalker attacks. "This is what they do," she said. "This is what they are." The mother creature saw the images. Her blue markings flashed in patterns of sadness and shame. She made soft sounds that Dr. Nam translated as apologies. She was sorry for what her species had done, even though she had not been part of it. Admiral Song was not impressed. "Animals cannot feel guilt. This is just mimicry." But then something happened that changed everything. Alarms began ringing throughout the station. The long-range sensors had detected new contacts approaching. 12 more Void Stalkers incoming, reported the communications officer. ETA 4 hours. Perfect, Admiral Song said. When they arrive to rescue their friends, we will destroy them all at once. They are not coming to rescue anyone, Dong-hyun said. They are coming to finish what the last pack started. What do you mean? Taeho knelt beside the mother creature. Can you tell us about the ones that are coming? Are they part of the same pack we fought before? The creature looked at the sensor readings on the nearby screen. Her markings immediately flashed bright red, the color of extreme danger. She struggled to sit up despite her injuries. Dr. Nam was recording the creature's responses. She is terrified of whoever is coming. These are not the same ones we fought. These are worse. The mother creature began making rapid, urgent sounds. Her babies heard their mother's distress and huddled close to her. She is trying to warn us about something specific, Dr. Nam said, something about the approaching group. Admiral Song studied the sensor readings. 12 contacts moving in perfect formation. These are not random raiders. This is a military unit. A hunting pack, Dong-hyun corrected. Elite killers. The ones we fought before were just scouts compared to these. The mother creature looked directly at Admiral Song. For a moment, their eyes met, human and alien, warrior to warrior. The creature's markings flashed in a complex pattern. What is she saying? Admiral Song asked despite herself. Dr. Nam checked her translation equipment. She is asking for permission to fight alongside us. She wants to help defend the station. Impossible. Admiral, Captain Lee said urgently, we need every advantage we can get. You have seen the footage from the destroyed colonies. You know how dangerous these creatures are in combat. What if we had one fighting for us instead of against us? Admiral Song looked around the room. She saw humans who were willing to die to protect an alien family. She saw alien babies who had tried to defend their mother from her weapon. Most importantly, she saw a wounded creature who was volunteering to fight impossible odds to protect the humans who had shown her kindness. This goes against every regulation in the fleet manual, Admiral Song said. Sometimes regulations are not enough, Captain Lee replied. The Admiral was quiet for a long moment. Finally, she holstered her weapon. Show me what they can do. Over the next 3 hours, the station prepared for the most important battle in its history. The Admiral's Marines worked alongside station personnel to set up defenses, and for the first time in human history, aliens helped humans prepare for war against their own kind. The mother creature, despite her injuries, positioned herself at the main entrance. Her 2 babies, now old enough to help, took positions where they could carry messages and supplies between the defenders. Admiral Song watched it all with amazement. In 30 years of military service, I have never seen anything like this. They are not just animals, Taeho said. They are people, different from us, but still people with the same capacity for loyalty and love. When the 12 elite hunters arrived, they found something they had never encountered before, a united force of humans and aliens working together. The battle that followed would be remembered by both species as the moment when 2 different kinds of intelligence chose cooperation over conflict. But that battle was still to come. For now, in the quiet hours before dawn, humans and aliens waited together for the fight that would determine the future of both their species. Admiral Song stood beside the mother creature, both of them watching the horizon. I hope you know what you are doing, she said quietly. The creature's markings flashed once in the pattern that meant trust. Sometimes, Admiral Song thought, trust was all anyone could offer. Human or alien, it came down to the same thing in the end. Choosing to believe that others would stand with you when everything was on the line. The sun was setting, and the hunters were coming. But this time the prey was ready. The elite hunting pack attacked at midnight with military precision. Unlike the previous raiders, these 12 Void Stalkers moved like a single deadly organism. They struck the station's defenses from 6 different angles simultaneously, their black and silver markings making them nearly invisible in the darkness. Admiral Song watched from the command center as her carefully planned defenses crumbled within minutes. These are not animals, she said grimly. These are soldiers. The lead hunter was massive, even larger than the mother creature. Ancient scars covered his body, and his crystal claws had been sharpened to razor edges. He had been hunting humans for decades, and he knew every weakness in their defenses. But this time he faced something new. The mother creature met the hunting pack at the station's main breach. Despite her injuries, she fought with the fury of someone protecting her chosen family. Her blue markings blazed like lightning as she engaged 3 attackers at once. "Look at her go," breathed one of the Marines. "She is incredible." But the real surprise came from her babies. Now nearly half grown, they had inherited their mother's intelligence and loyalty. Instead of hiding, they became the communication system for the entire defense force. The eldest baby, whom Tae-ho had named Woo Jin, seemed to understand human speech and body language. He raced between defensive positions, warning soldiers about enemies approaching from blind spots. His younger sibling, a female Tae-ho called Mira, had learned to operate simple equipment. She helped reload weapons and carried medical supplies to wounded defenders. "This is impossible," Admiral Song muttered as she watched the alien children risk their lives to save humans. "Everything I was taught about these creatures is wrong." The battle raged through the corridors of the station. The elite hunters were skilled and ruthless, but they had not expected to face organized resistance from their own species. Every time they tried to break through human defenses, the mother creature was there to stop them. But she was weakening. Blood from reopened wounds left a trail wherever she went. Her blue markings were growing dim. "She cannot keep this up much longer," Dr. Kim said as he watched the medical readings from her collar transmitter. That was when the hunting pack's leader made his final move. Instead of attacking the humans directly, he went after what he knew the mother creature would die to protect: her children. Woo Jin was carrying ammunition to the Marines when the pack leader cornered him in a side corridor. The young alien tried to run, but he was not fast enough. The huge hunter's claws descended toward the helpless youngster. The attack never landed. Admiral Song appeared in the corridor, her military-grade plasma rifle blazing. Her shots drove the pack leader back, giving Woo Jin time to escape. "Nobody hurts children on my watch," she growled. "Human or alien." The pack leader turned his attention to this new threat. Admiral Song was a skilled fighter, but she was no match for a creature that had been killing for decades. His claws raked across her armor, sending her sprawling. As the pack leader prepared to finish her, Woo Jin did something that would be remembered in both species' histories. Despite being young and small, he threw himself at the massive hunter, trying to protect the human who had saved him. The sight of the alien child defending Admiral Song changed everything for her. This was not the behavior of a mindless animal. This was courage, loyalty, and love. The same qualities she had seen in her best human soldiers. "Enough," she said, struggling to her feet. "This ends now." Admiral Song activated her personal communicator. "All fleet units target the attacking aliens only. Repeat, protect the aliens fighting alongside our forces." The tide of battle shifted immediately. The fleet's heavy weapons opened fire on the hunting pack, while carefully avoiding the mother creature and her children. Caught between human technology and their own species' fury, the elite hunters found themselves outmatched for the first time. The pack leader realized he was losing. In desperation, he made one final charge toward the station's reactor core. If he could not kill the humans and traitor aliens, he would destroy them all. But the mother creature intercepted him just meters from the reactor. The two giants crashed together in a final, terrible battle. Crystal claws rang against crystal claws. Ancient roars echoed through the station. When the dust settled, both creatures lay motionless on the floor. "No," Tae-ho whispered, running to the mother creature's side. Her golden eyes opened slowly. She was alive, but barely. The pack leader would never hunt again. Woo Jin and Mira rushed to their mother's side, making soft sounds of distress. The mother creature lifted her massive head with great effort and touched each of her children gently with her nose. Then she looked at the humans gathered around her. Her blue markings flashed one final message, the pattern that meant family. "We are family too," Admiral Song said quietly, kneeling beside the injured creature. "All of us." 6 months later, Research Station Kepler 442b had become something unprecedented in human history, the first interspecies colony. The mother creature, now fully healed, served as an ambassador between her people and humanity. Her children had grown strong and intelligent, equally comfortable with humans and their own kind. Tae-ho had been promoted to Director of Interspecies Relations. His first official act was to establish protocols for peaceful contact with alien species. His second was to set up a school where human and alien children could learn together. "They are not so different from us," he said during a presentation to the Colonial Council. "They feel fear, love, loyalty, and hope. They make choices based on what they think is right, not just on instinct." Admiral Song, now serving as military liaison for the colony, watched human and alien children playing together in the recreation area. Wu Jin was teaching human kids how to climb walls using their fingertips. Mira was learning to paint pictures with brushes held in her crystal claws. "I spent 30 years believing that different meant dangerous," Admiral Song said to Captain Lee. "It took alien children risking their lives to save humans to teach me the truth." "What truth is that?" "That courage and compassion are not limited to any single species. They are universal languages that everyone can understand." The colony continued to grow. Other void stalkers began arriving, not as hunters but as refugees seeking the same acceptance that the mother creature had found. Some humans were still afraid, but more and more people were learning to see past differences in appearance, to recognize similarities in heart. Dr. Nam had made breakthrough discoveries in interspecies communication. The blue and red markings of the void stalkers were more than simple emotions. They were a complex language, capable of expressing abstract concepts like justice, mercy, and hope. "They have been trying to talk to us for years," she explained to a gathering of scientists. "We just never learned how to listen." One evening, Taeho sat in the station's observation lounge with the mother creature and her children. Through the large windows, they could see the sunset painting the alien landscape in shades of gold and purple. "Do you ever regret your choice?" he asked. The mother creature's markings flashed in patterns that Dr. Nam had taught him to understand. She was saying that every choice had a cost, but some choices were worth any price. She looked at her children, who were grown now but still stayed close to their adopted human family. She looked at the human children who played with them without fear. She looked at the mixed crews of humans and aliens working together to build something new. Her final message was simple but profound, the pattern that meant home. "Yes," Taeho agreed, watching human and alien families sharing dinner in the communal dining area. "This is home." The story of Research Station Kepler 442b spread throughout human space. Some people called it impossible. Others called it dangerous. But for those who lived there, it was simply proof that the universe was bigger and more wonderful than anyone had imagined. The mother creature had been abandoned by her own kind for refusing to hunt humans. The humans had been ready to kill her family out of fear. But one person's decision to hesitate, to look past fear and see an individual instead of a monster, had changed everything. Years later, when historians wrote about the first successful human-alien alliance, they would point to many factors, political, economic, and military. But those who were there knew the real truth. It all started with one human who chose compassion over fear, and one alien who chose trust over hatred. Sometimes that is all it takes to change two worlds. The children, human and alien, who grew up together in the colony would become the leaders of a new era. They would carry forward the lesson that their parents had learned through blood and sacrifice. Different did not mean dangerous. Strange did not mean enemy. And family was not about what species you were born into, but about who you chose to stand with when everything was on the line. In the end, the mother creature had been right from the beginning. They were all family, and family protected each other, no matter what they looked like or where they came from. The future belonged to those brave enough to choose understanding over fear, love over hate, and hope over despair. And as the twin moons rose over Research Station Kepler 442b, casting silver light on a community where humans and aliens lived as one family, the mother creature's gentle purring could be heard throughout the corridors, a sound of contentment that needed no translation. She had found her home at last. They all had.